it's time to have this conversation about Steph Curry.
Okay.
As he is now the all-time reigning three-point champion. Okay? Three-point champion in the history of the National Basketball Association. The all-time greatest scorer from beyond the arc, as they like to say. And he passed Ray Allen's three-point record last night, and Ray flew in for the game. And Reggie Miller was broadcasting the game. And Steph Curry in Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, he hoisted the game or the record-setting three-pointer. It goes in, and the place went nuts. And I will tell you this, and this is part of the conversation we need to have about Steph Curry, about him being so damn likable and beating you, him being so approachable and beating you. And that's part of his allure. And people just keep on kind of overlooking him. Now, the last couple of years, maybe not so much anymore. Where, Durant had to come in order to get him where he needed to be after winning one without him. And then Durant leaves and everybody thinks, well, they kind of stink. And last year, he had a terrific season. Everybody thought he was kind of over going into last year. I fully believe that was the general sense, that Curry was done. Clay was out, Warriors are done, and Curry is kind of no longer the Curry that we saw in his first several years of being a professional, even though every signpost of this guy's life tells you how damn special he is. T.J. Jefferson, I know you as a Georgetown fan remember the 2008 NCAA tournament when he and Davidson came for everybody's souls in his sophomore year of college. By the way, after freshman year of college, in which he set the NCAA record for threes in a single season. And that was in that 2008 NCAA tournament when Davidson came in as a 10 seed and beat Gonzaga because he scored 30 of his 40 in the second half, and then they went ahead and beat your Georgetown Hoyas in the second round, bounced them out, made the Sweet 16 after Davidson was going on a run. It was their first tournament win since 1969, thanks to Steph. He scored 33 against Wisconsin after, by the way, 25 in the second half against Georgetown. They made the Elite Eight and lost to the eventual national champion Kansas Jayhawks by two. They almost made the Final Four that year. His junior year, they didn't make the tournament, but he did have a monster stat line of 28, 5 assists, 28 points per game, 5 assists. By the way, his freshman year, he averaged 21 points per game. That was second best in the country. The only player better than him was a kid from Texas named Kevin Durant.
How did he end up at Davidson?
Well, how did he wind up with the Warriors? Right? Blake Griffin was the first overall selection by the Clippers in that draft.
Yeah. Minnesota had a terrible draft. Yeah. That's how.
You guys know I was at the 2009 NBA draft.
Really?
Yeah, I was, because as a Clipper fan, knowing Griffin was going first, I went, so I was there.
Well, Hasheem Thabit went to Memphis 2. James Harden went to Oklahoma City at 3.
Right. But then Minnesota
Tyreek Evans went to Sacramento at 4, and then Minnesota had back-to-back picks.
Back-to-back.
They had 2 shots at Steph, and they went Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn, and then Steph was right there. And I remember sitting at home hoping that Steph Curry would fall to the Knicks in the next spot. And instead, he doesn't go to the Knicks. He goes to the Warriors, and last night he sets the all-time mark for three-pointers
at the Garden,
at Madison Square Garden. And Knick fans went crazy, which is, again, his magic potion of being so damn likable, because New Yorkers love to hate people who just constantly win. A winner since day one, man. And now he's the all-time three-point king. And there's the photograph we're putting up on NBC Sports on Peacock. Ray Allen and Reggie Miller presented him with a Warriors jersey with 2,974 on the back right there.
That's cool.
Because that's the magic number of three-pointers, man. Three-pointers. Oh, my gosh. And then, let me get this record, too. He's got now a three-pointer in 152 consecutive games, a streak that began on the 1st of December, 2018. That's second only to the streak of 157 straight games with at least one three-pointer from 2014 to 2016 that he set. He's got 1 and 2 right there. And so here's Curry after the game. I want to play this because this is just, I mean, it's so damn likable. We most of the country began to know him first because of the NCAA tournament run that he went on. And then, of course, him turning the Warriors into a great team with Draymond Green, obviously, and Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala. And then Durant joined them. And then, you know, it broke up, and everybody thought that would be the end of the Warriors, certainly after Thompson got hurt. Now here are the Warriors atop, you know, the NBA heap again, along with some other teams that can win the championship this year, with Curry as a 33-year-old doing stuff that we haven't seen at this age since, I would have to say, what Kobe and Jordan were doing it, right? To such an excellent level at this age. Certainly from a backcourt, right? So this is Curry after the game.
It was a beautiful, I'll call it, ending to this last week, and the build up to getting this number, and it was a special atmosphere. I knew the Garden would deliver in terms of just how iconic this place is, but I can't say it enough. I appreciate so much the way the fans embraced the moment with me and let me just kind of get lost in it, and I could feel it once I took the shot on the wing, and it felt good, looked good, and it went in. It felt like we were at home, and I didn't really realize that we were going to foul and that there was going to be a timeout and all that. It was just a special moment for sure that I appreciate, and I'll remember for the rest of my life in terms of what it means to me to pass Ray, a guy, him and Reggie, and guys I looked up to coming into the game. So definitely special.
Can't tell you, as a New Yorker, Madison Square Garden, where everybody gets booed, what that means that they were cheering. Although, again, he was the recipient of MVP chants in Brooklyn earlier this year. Mm-hmm. So he's just universally popular, this guy. For the Warriors, who are now 23-5. A half-game lead on a team that won 18 in a row earlier this year. So here's the question about Curry. Did you put him on your Mount Rushmore of the NBA?
All time?
He's on the way to a third MVP this year, I think you can say. He's a front runner.
Yeah,
right?
Him and Durant, I think, are the front runners. Yeah.
MVP. What if he wins a championship this year?
Is he Finals MVP or is
yeah.
Iguodala?
Let's just put it all in there. Okay.
No, he's not on Mount Rushmore. No.
TJ?
With all due respect, and I mean this as respectfully as possible, I don't think he's on my Mount Rushmore, but the guy is incredible.
Why not? Because he hasn't won the championships, right?
Who would you have to take off
Rich,
of a Mount Rushmore?
We're gonna get into this more later today when we film our second episode of the Rich Eisen Basketball Podcast. We're gonna talk a lot about Curry,
which people can acquire at the moment on YouTube on our YouTube page.
At the moment on YouTube, more on news on that coming later on. I think you can talk about Curry, maybe an argument for the greatest point guard of all time, if you want to consider him an actual point guard. But in terms of Mount Rushmore all-time greats NBA, not there for me personally.
Because it's threes. He doesn't win enough championships.
No, because he's not big.
He's not a big man.
Incredible basketball players, and
well, I know Jordan's one of them.
You take
Kobe's
a Magic
another.
Johnson,
right?
Kobe's not on I love Kobe, not on Mount Rushmore though.
No, Mount Rushmore is Mike
Bill Russell,
Mike and LeBron.
Wilt.
Then you get into it. Is it Magic? Is it Kareem? Is it Wilt? Is it Bill Russell?
Why not Steph Curry, the all-time grading three? I mean, the NBA is now about three-pointers, right? NBA is now about taking your threes are better than taking a two, right?
How many Finals MVPs for Steph? That's it. That has a lot to do with it for me.
I'm just throwing it out there. I know I'm an outlier here. I know I'm definitely climbing up.
But change the game, change the way we see the game, change the way future generations are playing the game.
21st century basketball. Everybody's playing the game from the outside end, isn't he?
Yeah, and he did that.
Everybody wants to shoot threes. Everybody's shooting from the logos. Who's the best at that? Who's the guy you got to guard once you cross half court? Who's that guy?
I think you got to pick him up full court.
I'm just saying.
No, there's no doubt
Right?
about that.
Right?
Change the game, yes.
The 21st century, the way the NBA is being played right now, who's better at it than Steph Curry?
I mean, the only person as of right now you might be able to say is like a Trae Young
Unbelievable.
who could pull up, but Steph is Steph, and the only person who can maybe mess with Steph is Clay. You know, Clay's not playing right now.
I'm so right now sitting pretty saying the Warriors are going to win the championship.
You did call that one.
I mean, you were on
I'm
top.
feeling
of
good
that.
about myself.
I mean, he really had to make up for the Giannis bad take
Yeah.
from last year.
I mean, that's the worst take I've ever had in the history of this show.
But if the Warriors win the title, I mean, that kind of
Is that the deodorant?
I think it cancels it out.
Okay, cancels it out.
I think it cancels it out.
I think that take was so bad that the Heat shouldn't break up their team for Giannis because they finished second in the bubble.
But I don't think anyone.
Is one of my worst takes ever.
But no one predicted the Warriors to win the title coming into this
I
year.
think they're going to win it. I just kind of sniffed it.
And the thing about
The
Steph,
way that Curry finished last year, the way that everyone was overlooking him, the way that Clay's coming back.
you're right.
That kid Wiseman's coming back too.
Wiggins is balling. That team is
And
looking
Draymond Green's a first ballot Hall of Famer too. Don't forget.
Yeah.
And their coach is amazing. Curry, man, what a night in Madison Square Garden.
Rich, the thing about Steph is between 14 and 15, and Chris, like, Steph was already a great player. He averaged 24 points a game. And then in 15, he went up to 30. So he added 6 points
Right.
to his point
It's a big
total, which
deal.
that's a lot of points.
Big deal, yeah.
And that was the year that I think everybody went, wait a second. Like, we knew Steph was good. But that 15-16 season, when he averaged 30, it was just like, wow. The Warriors became must-see.
Greatest shooter. Greatest shooter. So you could put him in, you say in the conversation, the greatest point guard, greatest shooter, not greatest player of all time.
I would say he is the greatest shooter.
Yeah, and it didn't
He's,
need last night for that.
No,
to-
yeah, I didn't need last night. To
Well, I
put
mean,
that
this is
over
the sort
top,
of stuff
but
that
yeah,
causes
yeah.
you to have these
Yeah,
conversations.
but I'm saying it was already validated before last night.
I think we're looking at him and Magic maybe for best point guard ever, and then but Mount Rushmore is not there because Magic's not there.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.